Thank you, Anne, for coming in today. I'm really glad that you're here. It has been an honor and a privilege working with you and to facilitate your healing journey over these last many months. So thank you for coming.
I am so glad to be here, Jennifer, because you have changed my life, and I'm sure that you can change others. And I wish you the most success, because I have not felt this great in years.
Thank you. Would you talk a little bit about, let's go back to where you were before we began working together. You had a brilliant career as a pharmaceutical sales executive, and then had to make a big life change. You had to retire to care for your mom who has Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
That's right. So 3 years ago, actually it started 4 years ago, I could not concentrate on my job. So I knew, because my mother had moved to Katy and she was living by herself, and I could see her diminishing because of her disease. So she moved into the house with us, my husband and myself, and I knew I had to give up my job. So I retired, because it was a full-time job to take care of my mother. And after a couple of years of taking care of her, I realized I had no happiness, I had no joy, I had an amazing amount of despair and sadness, which I still feel today. But what I found is that I had met you, and I had never seen so much energy, so much happiness, so much joy. And I told my husband, I needed that. I needed something. Because at one time my husband said, I don't even recognize you anymore. You're so unhappy. And he understood why I was so unhappy. But not only the unhappiness, but the tiredness. And I hate to say it was a darkness, it was depression, there was so much time spent taking care of someone that I didn't take care of myself. Mm-hmm. I didn't do my hair, I didn't care what I wore, I didn't get any sleep. I was totally worn out. And then I found you.
So thank you. You're describing the end stages of burnout. Mm-hmm. It's kind of what you're describing, which goes beyond caregiver strain, and which even goes beyond compassion fatigue, right? This was in all areas of your life, right? Mm-hmm. You were experiencing lots of different types of fatigue and right. Emotional, expressing emotions in ways that you may not have wanted to. And I think you described that you were having running thoughts mm-hmm. and self-doubt. I think you were discussing tremendous self-doubt. Yeah.
I have two sisters. They don't live here in Katy. They had their own families and responsibilities, and I am the closest to my mother, and I always wanted this responsibility. I had no idea what it was going to be. I had no idea what I was stepping into. Mm-hmm. So yes, it was incredible.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about, you've had a customized package that has been several sessions. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about what your healing journey has been like, going through 1, 2, 3, and sessions beyond? Could you speak a little bit to your experience?
I remember the first time I did not know what to expect. I thought, okay, I'll be very open-minded to this. Mm. But what I enjoyed about it most of all is because at each session you asked me and made it allowable to invite my spiritual guide, who in my world is Jesus. Mm-hmm. And every time I was here, I invited Jesus, and I felt him, and I felt protected and warm, and I knew I was in a good space.
That's beautiful.
And which I wanted to share this conversation that I had just last night. A friend of mine that I had invited to come see you I was telling her, after she told me that she couldn't believe the change in me, that she didn't want to come because she felt like it was against her faith. And I thought that first of all, she's brave in sharing that. And secondly, I explained to her it had nothing to do with her spirituality, nor mine, because I was allowed to bring in my faith, and it had nothing to do with faith. So I think that she was surprised at that, because this is the unknown for her, and she had some fears, and she felt like it was an intrusion on her Christianity. And I told her, it's not an intrusion, it's a completion. Because I always felt like my hand was being held while I was being helped by your therapy.
And thank you for sharing that. That's very deep and very profound. So thank you for having the courage to share that. There are some confusions sometimes with energy medicine and different modalities, and you're exactly correct. Energy medicine is a science of maybe a different type, but it truly is separate from religion. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for sharing that you did have your own spiritual experience within your healing, because that's really what all of this is about. As a holistic nurse, we're trained, and nurses ask almost any nurse that we all are very comfortable with, and we know that every healing comes from love.
Yes.
Regardless of the modality, whether it's a gemstone or a diamond or a pharmaceutical medication or a surgical intervention or an herb or a supplement, that it's actually the love that carries the vibration and the light and the sound that does the healing. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're so welcome. There was an incredible amount of love.
Yeah, thank you. So if you will share, what are some of the differences in your life now that you've had several sessions and you've had some breakthroughs? What is your life like now?
I would say it's a 180. I am so joyful. Now when I see my mom, I'm not sorrowful. I don't feel overwhelmed by I can't help her. I cannot stop the disease, but I can make good decisions for her. I can still love her, and I can now it's not seeing something, but I can be joyful with the time I have with her, as opposed to just feeling so dark.
Thank you for sharing that. And it is the difference in you from the many months ago. Even with the first session, I remember you sharing that you felt an intense sense of protection, that things could not be torn back down again.
Right.
Yeah. And then seeing the progression on your journey, because everything's a journey,
yes,
right? And to where you are now is heartwarming, and I'm thrilled for you.
Well, I am very thrilled. Well, I chuckled to myself because at each session you asked me, what are we here for? And I thought, I am very broken, because each time it was something else.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't the same thing, but you made me stronger and happier, more energetic, more willing to love life again and love my situation. That it's incredible. It's an incredible feeling. Just the last time I saw you, it was for, you asked me what my reason for being here was, and I said, my anxiety, my worries.
Yeah.
And during the session, I looked into my head, and it was as I looked at a door. All my worries were behind that door. I still see that door to this day. I do not have those anxieties and worries. It's such a release, and I thank you so much.
It is my pleasure, and the credit goes to God, and the credit goes to Holy Spirit, and the credit goes to these incredible healing tools that we have available to us, the gemstones and the diamonds. They do all the work. I just facilitate. But thank you. Thank you. It's an honor and a privilege. And we're not done yet. There's always the next step. And I can just hardly wait to see where these next steps lead you. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm so very happy for you and grateful to you. Thank you for inviting me to work with you and share this part of your healing journey. It's a tremendous honor. Thank you.
And where I feel it, Jennifer, is God has blessed me with you.
Thank you.
I love you dearly.
I love you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
So where you are, caring for your mother with Alzheimer's, what advice would you have for other women that are in a similar position to you are, or perhaps caring for an elderly parent or a child with special needs, but especially for parents, aging parents with challenges? What advice would you have for them?
So my mom is at a care facility, and I run into family members, and they're just like me before I came to you. And I see the burnout, I see the anguish, I see the total tiredness in trying to take care of your parent and take care of your family. And my advice would be that there is hope. There is an opportunity to live your life and care and love your parent.